Welcome to Stories of Hope. I'm Christine Hotchkiss. Each week I bring you stories of inspiration, education, and my biggest word of all is hope. I love saying that word. I say it every single time. I want to thank my studio sponsor, the Motivated Mind Group, based right here in downtown Chandler. Today my guest is Kymesha Guy, and she is the founder of the nonprofit Quiet Waters Global Maternal Wellness Center. It is a 501c3, volunteering to raise funds and awareness for fellow veteran families who need assistance to afford women's and family planning health care. And they are also located here in Chandler. And she's a veteran, so I want to say thank you. But before I do, please help me welcome my guest today, Kymesha Guy. Hi, Kymesha.
Hi. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, we've been trying to do this for a while. You're very busy with exactly what your mission is, raising funds on all the different events so that you can move forward and help those individuals, mamas.
For sure.
Yeah, but you also have a male program in here too, and we'll talk about that in here as well.
Okay.
So thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
And that is actually where you founded this idea.
Myself and several other people, yes,
so
absolutely.
Tell us more.
Okay, so we already had a maternal center that we have already developed and just brought into the world along with all of our babes and everything else, and then all of our moms. And so when we realized with the center that there were several of us who actually have a military background, whether that be that we were veterans or that we are dependents of veterans, we kind of knew what our mission was going to be. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, we just decided that that was who we were going to be able to reach out to the most, is our veteran families.
And we call it a Meet You Factor, and as I understand, the military families go through a lot of stuff, whether it's moving or, and you've already said, the needs for the mamas and the families.
Yes.
Because I was born at Camp Pendleton, but I didn't live the lifestyle that a Marine family would.
Right.
So I don't know much about that lifestyle. Tell me how you came up with this idea to be able to help that. Most people would think that you got the benefits, you're in the military, and that's not the case.
It is not the case.
Okay.
So the thing is that, of course, when you're active, you receive all types of quality care, top-notch care. The thing is that if you are not discharged and you're almost pretty much 100% disabled, you really just go right back into the circuit of regular health care, insurance, whether or not you can afford it, that type of stuff. And so with that, we realized that it was important for our veterans to not have to basically pay all over again. And so by being able to, at least from the maternal and women's health aspect, we can help them afford their women's health care and their maternal care. And then there is the development of women's health just within the VA system anyway. And so there's just, it's basic needs for a woman and her health care, nothing that's really specialized. So we definitely saw it was one of those see a need, fill a need type of situations.
So fill a need, there's more than just saying it's a wellness center. I have been to your center. You even did a commercial where we got to be a participant and a body.
Yes.
But I think it was more for the fun of it and supporting you, of course, because
you
you do quite a bit of work here in the community of Chandler. Tell us what those programs are, what that wellness entails.
So we've actually been asked by one of the teens who come to the wellness center. She came with her mom, and she goes, so what's a wellness center? What's the difference between a wellness center and a doctor's office? And we said, you know, while we're licensed and everything that is required in order to be a medical facility, we focus on keeping you well while you're healthy, making sure that you learn the things that can allow for your life to just stay on that healthy path. So for us, we have naturopathic care with our naturopathic doctor. We have our maternal care, of course, and then, so that's prenatal care, postpartum, all of that. Then we have our classrooms that help to be able to teach, you know, women's health or even young girls' health. And then we add in the therapeutic factors. So we're talking about acupuncture, pain management, massage therapy, skin care, hair care, and that's what brings in the whole wellness with it. And along with our classrooms, we want to be able to make sure that people understand that, you know, regardless of what your religious background is, all type of health does need to have that spiritual aspect of it. So we actually have our spiritual wellness portion of it as well, to where it is the mind, body, soul aspect. And so for our veteran families, we make sure that we include a mental health program, just to make sure that everyone who is part of the family, it's not just the member, you know, everyone goes through whatever the member from Armed Forces goes through. And so whether it's your children, whether it's your spouse, we always want to make sure that it's all very well rounded with their care.
Being well rounded, and you talk about mind, body, and soul, or spirit, however you want to talk about or identify it. It sounds like a spa treatment, but there's more to it than that.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot more to it, and that's why I think it's such a unique niche that you have. So there's a couple questions here. It's military background founded with the needs that every woman is needing, every person, because we call that self-care.
Right.
Something we have been using a lot for identity, like, oh, are you taking care of yourself? Well, how much is self-care are we really taking care? Is it actually pampering ourselves, taking time for ourselves, being out there and not working all the time, you know? We both know what that means.
Being really busy.
What's the balance? So is there an age? And then do you have to be military to be a part of this?
So for the Wellness Center aspect of it, we do treat those who are 18 plus. If you want to be able to come in, you have to come in with mom, is basically how that works. If you are under 18 to be able to receive services. And then that kind of course, all women. And particularly moms, I really should say that. So we will open the doors to all women for our women's health portion of it, but because it is a maternal center, it is primarily for mothers. And then with that, you know, then there's that, oh, well, there is dad. And so we do on one day of the month, we do allow for our fathers to be able to come in and receive services, still with mom. In order to make sure that he too can just receive, whether it's a class or whether it's just guidance, or just to be able to talk with other gentlemen who can just let them know that, hey, we're going through the same thing, we need the same type of care. And so we will allow that once a month for the services, but they're open to come to the classes anytime throughout on the weekends, each weekend, every month.
Is there a referral that's needed?
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Okay, how does that work?
So referral for the classes, yes, and then not for your primary care for mothers, and primarily most of the services. You don't, and as a matter of fact, our doctor is taking patients, and so we don't have to worry about it being backlog or anything like that. When it comes to our veteran patients and clients, that is a referral. It is something that we are contracted with TriWest and the VA for. And so therefore, you do need to go through your primary care at the VA, or you can just call the, I'm going to blank it, so I'm going to
We can include that later.
Yes. And so with that, you can get that referral directly through the VA. One thing though is that when it comes to women's health and our maternal care for our veteran women, you do not need to be service connected in order to be able to receive the services. So that is a major difference, because anytime any care is either referred by the VA or provided by the VA, you usually have to be service connected, but not for maternal care or women's health care. So that's a really big blessing.
That it is, and there's a couple of other parts in here that I know personally about, because I have actually sat down with you before when you were patient. We were all sitting in front of Zoom, or I was coming to you.
It's all good.
So thank you. Welcome to my new platform. It's a pleasure to have you on the new platform.
Thank you, thank you.
To share this message and to share why you're doing what you're doing to help others. So there's two other parts that I remember when I sat down with you a couple of years ago. I think you were just in the beginning stages of doing this.
Okay.
You talked about families. The family is on this journey 100% of it too. But then there will come a time where sometimes a family is not the structure of a mom, a dad, and sometimes there's a division.
Correct.
And so you have a program that's for young men and men to be able to deal with moms that are going through maybe being pregnant or have gone through maybe a depression You want to share about that? You want to share that program?
So it's not actually ours. We have partnered up with two organizations. And so with the first one, that is one of the gentlemen who's at the office. His name is Patrick Hutchins, and he has his own program, and it's called Do Bros. And so basically that's the educational piece that's offered in their classroom. And then there is another gentleman, his name is Kadir, and Brother Kadir is what I call him, and he is the wellness preacher. And so with that, he just helps for young men to be able to understand all of the responsibilities of, you know, just growing up into adulthood and learning what they would like to be able to do with life. And then it's before they become fathers. And so while Patrick's is more for those who are about to become a father, and then those who already are, then you have the wellness preacher who also just kind of helps to guide them so that they too can know what to do before they actually get to that point.
I think that's one of the best programs. Not that all the programs I have heard, but that's like one of the best because we have so many males, that don't have guidance.
Right.
And we already know men and women have a different language.
We do.
Of all sorts.
And it's okay.
And when it comes to having a family, especially when you're young, and having a family and not understanding the change that happens in a woman when she's pregnant and after she's had her baby, or just identifying who he is as an individual. Now you're going to be a dad, and we're still, I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to figure out life at my age. And then you try and tell a young man, hey, you're going to be a dad. And they're like, what do I do? So I think that's one of the great things that Patrick allows too, is getting to that level and understanding. You don't have to know everything. You're never going to know everything.
No,
but we
not at
can
all.
give you some tools to put in that toolbox, and hopefully you utilize them to not just make you a successful father and individual, but also to the individuals that are now a part of your life.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, and we just want to make sure that was one of the things as far as when it came to the gentleman coming to our wellness center and being part of this whole mom world. We call it Momville, actually. And so, you know, what we like to do is make sure that at the end of the day, that while all of this developmental education is fantastic for our males and for our dads, you know, like the whole point is to be able to better understand us as women, and then us as becoming mothers, and being able to support and be able to be our number one advocate when it comes to our choices and what we're going to do as a mother. So as long as that is their goal at the end of the day, they're welcome to stay. So yeah.
I love that. It's very proactive.
It is.
Very
That's what you have to do. Preventative. That's what it is.
Yes. Preventative and proactive.
Yes.
So now we talk about the maternal part.
Okay.
Tell me more about the program for the maternal part.
So we do have, for a very long time, we have actually decided to stay away from having insurances at our facility, simply because of the fact that we don't want any family, regardless of your dynamic, to not be able to afford maternal care. And as we have started to make our way past the pandemic, it really was a struggle for a lot of families to be able to afford their maternal care. There was only one choice of where we were able to birth, and that creates so much financial stress to where it just was not a very good ending for mom and for baby, and so, or for dad. And so with that, that was one of our big components. So we have actual prenatal packages that includes from start to finish your prenatal care, your postpartum care, and then also for you to just be able to continue your women's health care, and then also your newborn care. So by doing that, now mom doesn't have to worry about, okay, who do I go to for this provider and who do I go to for this provider? She can continue with the person that she started with. It makes a big difference just with that option. And then with our maternal classes, of course, we do Women's Health 101, we do Maternal Health 101. There's things about our breathing techniques and how to be able to stay in control when you're birthing. It becomes a lot, but it is very, very rewarding just to be able to keep that calm and that patience with yourself when you have, as you said, we have all of these tools. And so just to be able to come to a place that is very much geared to make sure that we are prepared for becoming a mother or just doing it again.
Right.
So, yeah, because it's different every single time.
That is
it
true.
really is. Yeah.
Okay, so we just talked about the maternal care. You're not a physician's office because you just explained.
We are. We're an outpatient treatment center.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are they doctors? Are
She
they
is.
midwives? What are they?
So we have a naturopathic doctor, and so she takes care of everything health-wise as far as our women's health and our prenatal care. We are associated with a midwife who actually has a practice that's also in Tempe. And then we have doulas, and so just in case if anyone doesn't know what a doula is, basically they are the #1 support for mom throughout it, to where it's not medical services that she provides like our naturopathic doctor or how a midwife or even an OB would. It is the everything else. It is making sure that she has her plan laid out. It's making sure that the plan is being carried out. It's making sure that if she is choosing a hospital, a home birth, or a birth center birth, that someone is available to be able to watch her kiddos if they have some already.
Right.
And then it is making sure that her house is in order, so that that's the last thing that she needs to do.
Right.
It really is just, having a doula is phenomenal. I was able to have one for my first home birth, and so it made a big difference of just being able to not actually have to deal with the stress. You could completely focus on delivering baby. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because my daughter, not many people know this because I'm going back a few years, but I had a midwife for my daughter.
Okay.
It was my first experience because being 18, 19 years old, you were told you go to a doctor, you know.
Right.
But because of the people that were in my life, they're like, no, a midwife, and it gives you a more calm setting for the baby and for you. But it wasn't at the level that you just described everything that's going on now. So I didn't know what a doula was then, so that's why I said midwife. And it was for a first time having a baby, it was a great experience if I had cooperated.
It's all good.
I wanted to
Doulas help with that too.
I wanted to deliver my daughter in the bathtub.
Okay.
Didn't work out, but I tried.
Okay.
But that's where my mind was because it was so painful being the first time ever. And then I ended up having a doctor for my son when I delivered him. And they were two different experiences. Not that they were bad.
Right.
They truly were two different experiences. And it depends on the person.
It does. It
Yeah.
depends on who your entire support system is.
It absolutely is.
And that's one of the reasons why we've developed the Wellness Center the way that we have. You know, even just to be able to receive body work throughout your pregnancy or even after, as you're recovering, all of that, that includes your entire support team, so that you really do not have to worry about anything other than you and baby. And it really does make it better for everyone who is involved with labor and delivery, and
Hormones,
then
the whole 9 yards.
whoever is going to be at home with you, all of that. And so it, you know, just taking the concept from it going from a spa to a wellness center to having a nonprofit, making sure that people do not have to worry about the funding that goes along with it, you know, which it does take a lot of fundraising, but it is so worth it. And so that's where we really love to just be able to bring all of it all together. And yes, it has been a lot in order for us to be able to bring it all to fruition, but it is working out.
So we know Mother's Day is just around the corner, so I know that you do a lot in the community, and myself and some other ladies are going to have fun being in your fashion show.
Okay.
So tell us more about this event that's coming up.
So this is our first annual charity event, and so with that we have a Mother's Day gala and fashion show that is coming up. There are several components to it, so we actually have a few categories for our moms that are participating in the fashion show. So we have our Mommy and Me, and that is basically any mom who would like to be able to either model by herself or with her children if she would like, adult children included, because some of us have adult children. And then we have our 50 plus, so that we have our moms and grandmas, whether they started late or they're just grandmas now.
Okay.
And then we have our military moms, and so that includes our veteran mothers and our active duty mothers and then spouses. And then we also have our pregnant moms, so that they can strut their stuff down the runway along with us. And so with that, our basis is just be able to continue to raise the funds to be able to take care of our veteran families and disadvantaged families, families that are truly disadvantaged, you know, and need that financial assistance so that they don't have to worry about that stress. And so that is coming up on May 12th, and it is going to be in the East Valley. We do still have the to be determined location, but we are narrowing it down. It really just depends on the size of the crowd. And so with that, it is going to be in the East Valley. Look for it to be updated. Right now, we are looking for vendors, sponsors to be able to help us out. Like I said, once again, it's on May 12th, and it starts at 5:30. Doors open at 5:30 so that they can walk around with raffles and vendors and have fun. Yes, absolutely. And so that, thank you. And so that is what we are doing with our fashion show and
I'll
gala.
make sure I'll provide that information in a flyer here before this actually airs, so give you some speed on that and some attendance for sure.
I appreciate it.
You mentioned disadvantage. Be more specific.
Okay. And so when we say truly disadvantaged, we understand that there are a lot of programs out there to be able to take care of and or assist families. And the thing is that we also know that there is abuse of some of those programs. And so what we don't want to do is feed into that already cycle of a system. And so with that, we are looking at families who are disadvantaged because of how far away from the metropolitan area they are. So we're talking about a lot of families who are in the rural communities, whether that is our Native American communities or you just live somewhere out by the mining areas that no one, really goes out to. If you live in a place what is called a healthcare desert, as in you don't actually have the type of healthcare that you need because it's just not available where you live. And so instead of them having to travel so far, or if, let's just be specific, let's just say that a mom is already pregnant, she's getting some type of prenatal care, but she knows that the closest hospital is 3 hours away. That is a huge disadvantage. So we want to be able to make sure that we can provide her and her family with the services or the resources at least, so that that is not going to end up being their reality. And so that's what we mean by those who are really disadvantaged. Of course, there is the financial aspect. And so, we go through our own screening process of making sure that you truly need it. It might be the difference between a flat screen or your prenatal care visit. And so, yes, so that's what we mean by those who are disadvantaged.
You just jogged my memory on a conversation that we had not too long ago. And before I ask my final question, I'm going to ask you to be brief about this if you want to even share this story. You talked about disadvantage, location, and distance of 3 hours to a hospital or being in a mining town.
Right.
You had shared a story not too long ago about going and helping a woman who needed your services, where you thought it was a paved road, and it wasn't a paved road.
No. No, not at all.
So I know that's a long story, but I wanted you to share how much you are dedicated to making sure.
Yes. So we had already sent our doula out there, and she goes, there is nothing out here. And it was to the point to where GPS could not even really tell us where we were going anymore. And so it was our turn to take the mobile unit out to her. And that was a trek, just trying to go up this very regular dirt road with a big RV and then trying to get it back out, because you can kind of only go in one way and then out the other, and then back it all out. Oh, I should have gotten a CDL license or something just to be able to do that. But it was definitely worth it. She actually lived all the way out in Sahuarita. And so when we say that we go out to our families, we really do.
And that's why I wanted to share that story, because it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's the dedication that you have. And the reason why you have these events, whether it's a fashion show or any other thing that you've done, that we as a community have supported you, because you also support our community in what you do.
Thank you.
But I wanted to give that opportunity for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it at our facility and our nonprofit. Thank you.
And you've only been open for what?
2.5 years.
And going strong.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been doing a lot to stay. Thank you.
Such a good job.
Thank
Such
you.
a good job.
It was amazing in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah.
That is very true.
It's a need.
And you kept going. It is a need, and I think that's what 2020 pandemic, those are never going to leave our lips.
Right.
But what it did do is reset everything, found the needs that we didn't know were there.
Exactly.
Reinvent ourselves, redefine things, right?
Yeah.
So I have an easier question for you now.
Okay.
No more storytelling.
It's all good.
If I only had one question to ask to get an idea of who you are or what you're about, it would be this question.
Okay.
Drum roll. What message would you like to leave based on your journey of life?
Ooh. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so with that, I would definitely have to say, always be mindful of mothers. We bring life into this world. And without mothers, there is no life on this world. Animal life,
Nope.
not human life.
No.
So that would be the biggest takeaway is, remember your mom, how you got here, regardless. Adoption, somebody took care of you, someone birthed you into this world. Please always remember that moms are super important. Super important.
I wish I had time to put that little clip that you shared when you did a presentation last week. It was quite lengthy, and I was going to actually add it on here about an interview with people saying, oh, it's a job, and you have all these hours, and you don't get paid, and you have to be...
And it's inhumane, and no one does it, and yes.
But no one realizes, like you just said, moms. It doesn't matter even if you have a relationship with your mom, birth mom, it's who's there that has put you in the journey that has made you who you are.
Right.
And yes, you're right. Without them, we're nothing. So thank you for that message. And thanks, moms, for all of those however you stand representing a child's life.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Like you said, a much need.
It is a need.
And I wish you luck on your fashion show.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And you'll be fabulous up on that stage.
Any opportunity to support the people that I care about and that are doing something within the community that makes a difference. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to thank my studio sponsor, the Motivated Mind Group, your global creative agency based right here in downtown Chandler. If you have a story you want to share, know someone who has a story, please email me to the address of stories@christinehotchkiss.com. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, please email me to the address of stories@christinehotchkiss.com. Until next time, everyone, I wish you well, and you take care.